Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Pranzata Podcast. This is your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. This is episode number 168 of the Pranzata Podcast here on YouTube. This is a returning guest. This is the fourth appearance of my good friend, Matthew Koerner. For those of you who have not heard him before on this podcast, to explain our relationship with each other, we've been friends for a long time. We started as friends in Central Jersey, and we both currently live in Philadelphia. Matthew is a musician in Philadelphia, and he's also a historian as well, and an educator. We're just going to get right into the conversation. The first thing I want to talk about today is technology. I know that's like a popular podcast topic right now, so I don't want to be cliche or over talking about an overused topic at this point, but we are going to talk about AI because truthfully, and social media, because truthfully, it actually is one of the things at the forefront of my mind right now, because I'm coming to an awakening of how damaging both social media and AI and GPT has been for my mental health. Ooh. The reason I wanted to bring Matthew on to have this conversation is because he's going through his own experiment where he got a dumb phone. Like, he's going through the whole thing. So I'm just going to kind of let him take it over from here. So explain to them what you've been doing. You've been really taking great lengths to reduce your screen time. So tell them what your routine is.
Yeah, well, I think at the forefront of that is, yes, I went back to a flip phone. Now my flip phone isn't like the ones that we had when we were kids. Like, it's it's from 2019. Like, it's a more modern version. Mm-hmm. It runs an Android OS, like operating software, and it has apps, but it has no app store. I have to so I have my Venmo on there, but I don't have any social media. I can access the internet, but there's no touchscreen, so it's really slow. I use it for calls, like calculator, I guess, if I ever wanted to use that. It has a flashlight on it. I use the flashlight pretty often. It has a camera. I just want to get all that out of the way because everyone's always saying, oh, how can you go by with that? It's like, I can do pretty much everything I can do. It just doesn't have the distractions.
Uber?
No, I don't have Uber for that
I
one.
really want to switch to a dumb phone too, but because I need an Uber.
Uber's on like every other. I got one that, like, mine's from 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
The more modern ones have Uber.
Okay.
You can definitely do it. Like, we could carve out a plan right now where you have a flip phone or a non-flip dumb phone.
Okay.
I've isolated it. So we've been on a lot of parallel paths with this. There was once you discover that you have a bit of a screen addiction or a digital, you realize you need a digital detox. It's like alcohol. The first thing they say, I think, is you need to, and neither of us really drink that much either, but that's funny. That's not really an issue for either of us, but that is funny they say first thing is you have to admit you have a problem. And I think the thing is we both realized, okay, we're on this thing too much. I think society, as you kind of pointed out, is realizing that at the same time together. Yeah,
and I don't think it's just you and I. I think it's a lot more people, and maybe a lot of people haven't woken up to it yet. Mm-hmm. Or I actually do think a lot of people have woken up to the reality that they're spending too much time on their phone, but because I remember in the past people are like, oh, I'm on my phone all the time, and they just kind of joke about it. Yeah. But so let's talk about some of the ways in which we're realizing now that, oh, this is affecting me. What are the different ways that it's been affecting you negatively? Well,
the phone, it was consuming. I mean, anyone who looks at their screen time, even the quote unquote healthier screen times of like 3 hours a day are too high. Like, I think I was up to 6 hours at some points. I mean, there's people who are much higher than that and much lower. They say comparison is the theft of joy. So everyone just needs to look at their own screen time, which is, part of the phone settings. You could say, okay, how many hours a day on it? And it breaks it down by app. And then find yourself, are you sounding like you have an addiction when you talk about it? If it's like, oh, but I use it for this, this, and that, or oh, I need to do this because of this, or I could never. Well, I've heard all that talk before. That's what people who have addictions say. And you and I were on parallel paths. I mean, did you ever try the grayscale thing where you just put your phone in black and white?
I did.
I did that.
Yeah,
it
didn't help me.
I deleted all my social media apps. That didn't really help. I would just use whatever I had. So then I had to delete my YouTube. And then I had to, the brain still needed more of it, whatever it was. And that's when I realized I did some reading. I read this book by Cal Newport, Digital Minimalism. And I guess it was a dopamine deficiency that we've all created within our brains, which is actually identical to, I think,
addiction.
Like if you like cocaine, it's about the dopamine, I think. So it's like, okay, well, this is the exact same chemical reaction that my phone is giving me that like people get from drugs, from certain drugs. So I was like, okay, I need to pump the brakes on this. And it also, it was freeing in a way, because that's the thing is like, if you admit that like, there's the things, I know that there's services you can pay for to block apps. There's things I gave someone else my password, but then you still had you could just beg them for the password. Like, it was just becoming so desperate, I found, in some ways, where it's like, okay, do I really need to scroll on this thing or look at this? If I don't have, it got to the point where it didn't matter because of the internet browser, and I realized that was the issue.
Yeah.
Even if you get rid of all the social media, you still replace it by looking something else up. Then you're looking up things on Reddit, and then you limit that screen time, but you just increase it, and you make excuses in your head. And I was like, I'm not alone in this. Everyone must be going through it. So what I did finally, and I just had a rough 2025 personally. There was just a lot of craziness that happened. So it seemed like a good time to just step away. And I just decided, okay, what do I actually need this device for? Phone calls and texts. Let me just find a dumb phone. I did some research on the internet, and I got one that was marketed towards construction workers. So it's also waterproof. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. It's scary thinking about it. And then the more research I did when I was reading, I read another book, this book called Enshittification by Cory Doctorow. And it's about how platforms like Facebook and Uber start off really great, and Airbnb, I think you could throw in there. Like, they start off amazing. And then once they take over the market share, once they have a near monopoly, they pivot. And so these companies are the biggest companies in the world, Google and Meta, Twitter, they're all designed, they all have more money no matter what. And if they're putting the screen time on there, I realize they're flaunting it in their face. They know that no matter what, they could say like, oh, have safe habits, because they know it won't work. Yeah. It's like, do you ever see Trainspotting?
I have, but it's been such a long time that I can't remember what you're referencing.
Within the movie Trainspotting, it's a movie about heroin addicts in Scotland in like the 80s.
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah. And like the movie is, there's a scene where like the drug dealer for Ewan McGregor's character, so there's a junkie and his dealer, and the dealer, he tells the dealer, he's like, I'm quitting. It's like in the beginning of the movie. He's like, I'm going to quit drugs. And he's like, good for you. I'll help you out. And he's just so snarky because he knows, sure enough, by the end of the day, he'll be knocking on this door again. And I think that's why these tech companies are giving us things like monitor your screen time and look at this. And they'll give you an alert like, hey, you've been on this number of hours. It's because they know those things don't do anything. Yeah,
they're trying to make it look like they're protecting you and they're protecting your peace, but they know ultimately that they're winning your time and attention. You know what's crazy is that lately I've been telling myself that I don't have enough time to do the things that I need to do. Like I used to be, and I'm still a good pianist, but I used to practice classical piano hours a day. Now, if I'm lucky, I can practice 40 minutes a day. I used to work out like crazy, and I still work out, but again, it's like something that I'm like trying to squeeze in 2 or 3 times a week at most. I used to go every single day. I keep telling myself I don't have time, but when I think about it, I have plenty of time. I work a part-time job. I'm a private piano teacher, so I only work about 4 hours a day. I'm in a position where if I wanted to make all my dreams come true, I could, but all my hours are being wasted to this addiction. And for me, it takes many different forms. And to what you said before, I have a lot of points I want to say to the stuff you said, but one of the things you said in the beginning is that even if you deleted social media apps, well, then you would find your way to Reddit. I'm to the point where even if my social media apps are gone, I'll actually obsessively check my email. Like, because it's just, it's like another limb. It is. I heard this on a podcast once, and this could be misinformation or like a rumor that got spread around, but I don't think it is. I actually believe it. But take the grain of salt. It was somebody that said that they had heard a doctor referencing this. The doctor said that years ago, after a surgery, one of the most common things he would see men do after they wake up from their surgery is to grab their to check if their is still there. Like, so they wake up from their surgery and they go like this. They grab their He said that once social media came into the picture, the first thing they do is wake up and grab their phone.
Oh, that's wild.
So that's like a crazy realization.
That's not where I saw that going. That's wild.
I know. I thought
you were going to talk about like the phantom pain and maybe like phantom anxiety stuff.
No. The idea is that to a man, his body and his most vulnerable part of his body is his first instinctual protection. Nowadays, a man or a woman's most instinctual protection is their phone. Our phone has become a part of our limbs. So to your point, like you said about you're just going to find another way to do it. I'll be transparent about this. I talk about everything. I've been on and off like watching porn and not watching porn over the years. I don't have an ethical issue with porn necessarily. I do to a degree, but that's a whole nother conversation. It's iffy. But that's like a whole nother topic. I have videos about on my podcast whether porn is ethical or not. It's very complicated. But for the sake of what I'm talking about now, leaving ethics out of it, I've been on and off porn for years for different reasons. I went through a whole year without watching it at one point. Nowadays, because I realize I'm getting so addicted to the phone, it's kind of crept back into my life again. If I block certain apps on my phone, like you said, like, okay, block the main ones, Pornhub, that's not an app, but you can like still block websites with app blockers. You can find porn on Twitter. You can find porn on Reddit. It's like literally everywhere on Snapchat. Like there's so many, you try to do it one. It's just like this thing will find a way. You will find a way to get to the wrong things. And like I said, even if I block all the porn in the world, then I'm going to be obsessively swiping my email to see if I've gotten a new email. It's like very clear that this has slowly crept up on me. Kind of like if we relate it to drinking. When I turned 21, well, actually earlier because I had a fake ID when I was 19. I started going to bars younger. I started going to bars when I was younger just to socialize. And then before you know it, I kind of like accidentally realized like, wait, I think I'm getting dependent on alcohol. And I was never an alcoholic, like in the sense that I was having all this trouble in my life, but I realized I was drinking every day and I couldn't like see myself not drinking every day. And I'm like, that kind of crept up on me without even thinking about it. Now the same thing is happening with the phone.
But you don't even drink really.
No, I don't drink at all.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't drink for years.
Because of that. Because I was like, no, this is not good. Yeah. And I'm kind of having the parallel I'm making here is with phones. It's like, I didn't expect to ever have this many problems with the phone, but it kind of snuck up on me because it became, I was doing good for a while. I actually had a dumb phone. I didn't have social media until I was 30, believe it or not. I'm 37, so 7 years ago at this point. I think when I made the switch was when I started going to restaurants and I couldn't look at a menu. I was like, all right, clearly that to me, that was the breaking point where I was like, I can't go to a restaurant and look at a menu without my phone. So I guess I need a phone because I like to go out to eat and I want to know what's on the menu. And some restaurants don't have a paper menu or a physical copy of the menu. That's when it changed. And slowly but surely, this thing is, like I said, a part of my body. It's like a second limb. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I carry it with me and put it on the piano when I'm practicing piano. When I'm doing dishes, it's literally in my pants pocket or like in my bra. It has to, and God knows what that's doing to like my breast tissue. I could be like developing cancer with like what radiation coming in there. I bring it to bed with me and I'm like, wow, this just kind of snuck up on me. How did this happen? Like it's so insane, you know?
Well, that's the whole thing is like, there's a profit incentive for these companies. Like the more time we look at these phones, the more ads, the revenue they generate because they sell. Like, why does TikTok care if we sit in front of TikTok? Well, in between every 3 videos or whatever, they would make us watch an ad for something.
Yeah.
Someone pays for that ad to go there. Who are they paying? They're paying TikTok.
Yeah.
Same thing with Facebook, Instagram. So they care very much that we're looking at these sites.
Yeah.
They want us. Google is really controlling almost every aspect of our life. Like Google should be broken up tomorrow. Today. Like Google should not be the company in charge of all of our email communications. They also own Android, so they have access to all of our text communications. They own the most popular GPS thing, so they know where everyone's going. They own YouTube. They control what everyone watches. They own a host of other different companies that people don't even realize, but Google has permeated itself. I mean, if you're a teacher, every teacher I know uses Google Classroom. If you do accounting, you do either Excel or Google Sheets is a huge part of it. Pretty much, Google has taken over every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed. They should be broken up into different companies. There's too many. What was the word? There's too many. And they have an AI now. They have an AI too. They have a really popular AI, Gemini. It used to be Bard, but I guess that didn't do as well in marketing, so they changed it to Gemini now. But there is a conflict of interest for all of those companies, a severe conflict of interest for Google to own all those companies.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I've been boycotting Amazon for like 8 years now and stuff. I don't know how to boycott Google in the truest sense. I really don't. I've limited their influence in my life. This is starting to get adjacent, but the point is, well, the point I was trying to make is that this company is massive.
Yeah.
All these companies are massive. It's an unfair battle. If they want us to do something, they're going to win. Like, we cannot think that we can outsmart them and use their products. Especially, I think, if you have any type of neurodivergency. I think that if you have ADHD or some form of autism or various other neurodivergencies, I think you're more susceptible to screen addiction.
Yep.
Just in my observations, like, take it with a grain of salt. Although I have read things about ADHD being exacerbated, or negative symptoms of your ADHD being exacerbated by screen time. Even going back to the 90s, they had studies on that with TV consumption and video game addiction when it was like that. Oh gosh, there's so many places, like, I'm obsessed with this. But with the phones, it is a limb now. And I think the biggest thing we have to do is, if we know that we can't outsmart them, then we have to boycott them, which is what I was trying to say with the Amazon. I've been boycotting Amazon for years. I think we really cannot use smartphones in the way that we've been using them.
Yeah.
So to your point, a menu. My phone has a QR code. I think that there are ways to do it. I think that, like, going cold turkey is a bad idea with the phones. What I would advocate people do is you make a plan. You figure out, what do I actually need from this device and how can I split it up? So I wear a watch now. I think that's one of the biggest things that people need to do is I think a watch, getting like an old person alarm clock, getting like ones that I say old person, but like an alarm clock like we used for most of our life.
Yeah.
Just separate all. It's nice that our phones do have every device under the sun, I guess. Mm-hmm. But we become so reliant on them to wake up, to check the time. Okay, how many times have you checked the time and you then read an email because there was a notification there?
Yep.
That's not good. I don't want to be reached. And if I'm on a hike or something and I want to take a picture of a sunset, well, I use a real camera now or my dumb phone is actually fine because it doesn't get email. I think that social media is just a cancer. Like, we don't need social media in our life, really. We don't need it always on us. If it's on the computer, like how it used to be, I think that's different than it being on us at all times.
I don't want to cut off your train of thought, but I do want to bring this up. One of the biggest issues for an artist, a podcaster, a musician, is that you feel you need social media to advertise your work. There have been days where I actually thought of just quitting podcasting because I'm like, if that's the only way to, and I don't want to do that.
I've had the same thought with music.
You've thought of quitting music just to not be on your phone?
Yeah.
Or not quitting music per se, but you could just do music in the privacy of your home and just write music and do shows in town. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I don't know if I'm willing to take that step because I put so much work into the podcast that I don't know if I could cut it off, but I've had those days. One thing I am doing is I'm no longer accepting that I have to, because this is another thing I realized, because we were talking about they want your time there.
Yes.
This is another trap I've realized about being a content creator. Mm-hmm. As a content creator, these platforms are using it like a casino for content creators. When you go to the casino, you go with the idea that I'm probably not going to win, but I might. Content creators are basically like addicts at the casino. Yeah. These certain platforms like TikTok, for example, they know exactly how to keep content creators coming back and making more daily content, because what they'll do is they'll give one video like 10,000 views. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I might make it. I might actually be famous. I might actually make money off of here. Kind of like when you go to the casino. If you've ever been to a casino, I'm not a gambler, but I've been a few times with friends when I was in my 20s. I went to Atlantic City and whatnot. And they had it, they called it like beginner's luck or something like that. They would kind of sense that there was a person coming to the casino for the first time. I don't know if they had your social security number or how they even knew this, but they would always like, there's this really weird sensation where the first time you go to a casino, you always end up winning. I remember the first time I went, I won a lot of money in blackjack, and I was like, how did I do that? I was like, and I thought I was like a blackjack master. And then I came the next day to play more and I lost a bunch of money, and I was like, oh, I guess that was just luck. But they do the same thing with these social media. So on TikTok, for example, you might put out a video, get 10,000 views and be like, oh my God, I'm on the way to becoming a famous influencer. Then all of a sudden you're grinding, making videos every single day. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I might trick myself to thinking as a YouTuber that I'm free. I'm free. I'm doing what I want. No, I'm just as much as a slave here as a 9-to-5 job. Like, people who have a 9-to-5 job, they might think like, oh, she's doing her thing. She's not a slave to the system. It's like, no, I am a slave to the system because I'm not making money on here. I'm just like on here grinding with the prospect that I could make money on here one day. And like, because of that, I've thought of quitting, but I'm still not ready to do that yet, just because I actually really enjoy doing this. I think if I ever reached a point where I was like following trends to try to get famous, then I'd be like, all right, if I'm just not being myself, that's a waste of time. But I actually really enjoy podcasting. I like this conversation. I like making music. So as long as it doesn't consume my time in a way that's really dangerous for me, then I don't see a huge deal with being a part of YouTube. And then there's a lot of positives with YouTube. Like, we're even having this conversation, which can potentially help one person. There could be one. And the irony is I had to use the phone in order to get this message across people. Yeah. But I think for me, to not become this like slave content creator, I'm no longer keeping up with the demands, because people are like, put out content daily. And I'm like, you. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting out content daily. I'll put this podcast out once a week. If I have to take a week off because I'm sick or I go through a breakup or anything like that, knock on wood, I want to go through a breakup, but and I'm just referencing to like times in the past where I was depressed and I couldn't, do anything for a few months. I want to be a human and I want to live my life, and I'm not going to let it like take me anymore,
I think that's very healthy. I don't think it's necessary to quit anything like that you love. I think that you're in a good position also because you have a lot of there's a lot of people where their phone is their hobby. You have a lot of natural, like, I don't even want to call them hobbies because it's just, but your lifestyle, like the life of an artist, the life of, like, you have other things that you live for besides your work. Like, and it's not just your work and your phone, which is, I think, a very common thing probably for a lot of people watching this. Yeah. Like, I've talked to friends who tell me they don't have hobbies and stuff. And a lot of that is, I think, the phone. And I don't think anyone has to really do anything super drastic, like foregoing the things that they love. I know it's the big thing with the artist. I know a lot of people who've thought about quitting. Like, it is a very common thing because it's such a miserable place to exist in 2026 social media landscape. Yeah. And I'm not even really there because I've had this phone for going on. I think I got it in like September. So if it's February now, yeah, early September. What is that? September, October, November, December, January. All right, I'm about 6 months in. Maybe I got it late August. I actually don't remember. And I do still have social media accounts. I didn't delete anything. So here's what I think you and like other people should do is just separate the devices again. Like, I think the portability is one of the issues. Like, access, things are different than they were when social media was on a computer and the internet had to be accessed in a room in your house. And then they went to everyone has their own computer, speaking broadly, but many people had their own computers. Then we spent a bit more time online if you could do it in your own room as opposed to the family room computer. But social media wasn't this all-encompassing thing then. I think it's when you started taking it with you. And that's the part I think we need to just not have. I don't think we need to have easy internet access at all times. I think having a slightly inconvenient phone with you, like, again, my flip phone, but just picture any sort of non-touchscreen internet access. And then you can have your social media apps on like an iPad, I would say, or like a tablet. Like, I bought a $20 tablet at the same time my phone was $60 on eBay. So this thing's also, it's not like it's cheaper. It saves you money to do this stuff. And you can cancel streaming services like Spotify or whatever because you're not going to use them on your phone. There's like a system. You have to have a plan, but you get the watch. So now it's like, okay, you're not checking your phone for the time. That's huge. You don't have to, like, if you're working, you're like, what time is it? Cool. You look at the watch. You don't have to think, oh, and now I'm being sucked into this zone.
That's the crazy thing. Yeah. That you're right. All it takes is just like, what time is it for you to all of a sudden to go down a
That's all it is.
That's what I mean. Literally I kid myself to thinking I don't have time in the day, but I do. It's just so I can't tell you how many times I've been distracted by, I can't focus anymore. Like, I'll be like, oh,
it comes back.
Okay. I'll have a plan. I'll be like, okay, right now I'm going to walk into the living room and vacuum the couch. On the way to the living room, I'll be like, oh, but before I do that, let me text this person to let them know their piano lessons at 7 today.
Yeah.
All I did was, which is fine, but all I did was pick up the phone and say, let me text this person before I vacuum the couch. Then all of a sudden I'm on the phone. Oh, look at that notification. That's pretty. Let me click on that. Oh my God, someone hit the like on my this. Who's that? Oh, that's an old friend. What are they up to? Oh, who are they dating? Let me click on that. And it's just like all of a sudden, like one little thing turned into just a rabbit hole. And then I wake up and I say, why did I walk in the living room again? I can't remember I'm here. Absolutely. And that's just one example of what happens all day.
All day. Well, you know what you just said is I don't believe in multitasking. Okay, multitasking I would say is a fallacy, and we're making our phones multitask. Like one device should not be your phone, your email, your iPod, your TV. If we're being honest, most of the things we use it for are just watching TV, short episodes of 30-second length. Like BS content is most of like what I think we use these for, is these little interactive TVs. We don't need to have a TV when we're checking our watch. It doesn't need to all be the same device. I think get like I spent $20 at Facebook Marketplace. I got like an old Android tablet. You can't take, the size of it is a big thing. Like the phone that fits in your pocket, you're going to take it everywhere. And that's fine. Like if I'm going hiking with somebody, if I'm going to a restaurant, I actually want my parents to be able to reach me. And that's what people they always lean, but it's because we're junkies. It's because we don't want to have to get rid of these things, but it's the same, like we're going to come with excuses, but let's take that away. You don't need to get rid of the lifeline to your parents. Okay, someone gets hurt, you want to be able to get them to reach you? Cool, have a cell phone. I have a cell phone on me right now. If something happened to my wife, I would know immediately.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Based on the things I need, do you think it's possible for me to go this route? Because I would like to. So let me tell you what I need. I do need an Uber because I need an Uber and Lyft because I don't have a car and I use them a decent amount. 1, 2, I do want my Venmo.
I have Venmo, yeah.
I love my voice text. Are you allowed to voice text on that?
Yeah.
You can? You can voice text?
Yeah, I can voice text.
Because, first of all, I just want to say this. Matt knows this about me. I use voice text. Why do people not use voice? Like, the idea of typing a letter, I'm just like, are you special? Like, what are you doing? Like, you can literally just go on it. And now the catch is usually misspells things, but then you can just go edit it. Yeah. But when people are like, and I'm just like, literally pick it up, say, blah, blah, blah. And like, Matt's like, you type fast. I'm like, that's because I don't type. I just get on there and I just talk on there, or like voice notes. I love my voice text. Do you think I could voice text, have Uber, have Lyft, and have Venmo on a smart or on a flip phone?
Easily. It doesn't have to be flipped, but just like a dumb
Can you
phone.
take the internet off of it?
Yes. So I think the big thing. So again, my phone has the internet.
Oh shit! What about maps though? Like if you're lost in the city.
Well, you don't drive.
What if I'm in the city? I'm like, I got to get to this restaurant. I don't know.
Well, that's a separate. For a short answer, yes, my phone has a GPS on it. Okay. But do you know my feelings about GPS? I think GPS makes us kind of dumber. Actually,
you think it's better just to say it's on before you leave the house? Say it's on 27 Chestnut Street and figure out how to get there.
Well, especially if you live in Philly, because Philly's on the grid system. Philly's one of the first American grid system cities. The reason why it's like, especially Chestnut and whatever, because the way it works is you just have to memorize where the streets are, and there aren't that many. Like, look it up first. Over time, like, I do think it's important, especially in the city, because the reason why it's numbered streets are so that you don't have to look up the address. Let's just say I was going to tell you, go to like, I don't know, 1670 Market Street, okay? Well, that means because it's the 16th block, that means you go to 16th Street and the 70. So, like, the way that the grid system works, it's easy to just figure out where things are. It takes a little bit of work, but you only do it once. Once you memorize the type of the grid, and also you really only need to memorize stuff in your neighborhood or the neighborhood you're going to that day. Yeah. And it all, like, living in Philly, it's easy. But short answer, my phone has a GPS on it. Okay. So all that's a little irrelevant, and I have used it when I get lost occasionally. I definitely do that. Yeah. But I don't think GPS is good for our brains in general. I think we just need to learn to develop our sense of direction and maps. And I think that GPS has robbed us, because a lot of times I know people, I felt this myself before when I still use GPS. A lot of times you're going someplace and you type it into the GPS, you don't learn how to get there. If you just go there, I think it's good to get lost from time to time.
I was going to say, maybe there's actually some type of utility in just, or not only just getting lost, but like, nowadays, because of smartphone, I'll be like, I'm in the mood for Indian food. Let me find where the Indian food. It might be nice just to say, let me see what restaurants are available and walk around and not know what's there until I find something that looks good.
Building your internal map is a skill that's being lost. Like,
right.
Do you know where the good Indian place is here, by the way?
I don't want to tell people where we live, but I know.
Gerard. If we're in Fishtown, they know we're like, we're not even that close to Gerard, but
Gerard. I've heard of that, but
that's a good one.
But it's just a hypothetical. I guess what I'm trying to say is, rather than being like, I want my sushi now, I could just be like, there might be sushi in this town. Let me just walk around and find it. Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll assume. Maybe I'll assume if I go to 2nd Street, I'll eventually find sushi. I'll walk around till I find something. But let's say I don't find sushi and I see it at a cool Egyptian restaurant. I want to go there. So I guess I think I like where we're going. Yeah. I think I want to take, we can talk about this after the podcast is over, but I think I do want to like buy the phone. Like I want to do it.
I'm not advocating for any one phone. There's about 5 different phones I could have gotten. I think that I just saying, break it up. First thing you want to do, like, don't go cold. You don't have to go cold turkey. Get a watch. Get an alarm clock. I wake up every morning to the radio.
Here's an issue. What? I'm allergic to most watches.
Yeah, pocket watch. No, you don't.
True, you could get one of those like old guy like things.
Or you could just use your phone as long as your phone doesn't have email or social media.
I don't want to use my phone. I think probably I need like a watch that like goes in my purse. Like I just like
pull something out. I think that'd be cool. I like that. Just have clock. Like you have clocks around your house, obviously.
That's fine, but I guess when I'm out, I could get like something that I put in my purse.
Yeah, it could just be a watch you don't wear on your wrist. Yeah, just like pull it out. Okay, this is the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's another solution, or if you can find a watch you're not allergic to.
Cloth, but even those like little,
cloth.
Literally, I would need a gold watch, which I would be happy to have, but I can't afford a gold watch.
My wife wears gold watches.
Does she really?
Yeah, she wears gold watches.
If I had 100% pure gold watch, that would probably not make my skin itch. But I can't afford that right now. Probably would have to get
that. I don't know if she does. She just has the color gold.
No. I would have to be like real gold or like maybe silver. I might be able to find something like that. I'm not really a jewelry person, so I think for me the better solution would be getting like a pocket watch that I just put in my purse when I go out, and then just pull it out when I need to.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. And as far as like internet stuff, there's also like just an easy idea I think for most of your viewers would be to get your dumb phone. Like, break stuff out, figure out what do I actually need. Do you really need, like, sometimes people tell me when they're like, how do you do your banking? I'm like, I do my banking at home. Like,
you can go on the desktop.
Yeah, I don't actually need to move money on the go too often. That doesn't ever really happen in my life. It usually happens when I need to send stuff. I do that at home. I don't do it from my phone. Most of the time when you're doing that stuff on my phone, when I used to do it on my phone, I was also at home. Like, it's not a thing where I'm, like, at work. I'm like, oh, I gotta send this bill. If that is, though, what I think is like a tablet, some type of like, because that's the best of, you have every app that you would need on like an Android tablet or whatever, but you can't take it to the bathroom. In theory, you can, but it's not in your pocket. So you're not going to end up watching reels in the bathroom because, does that make sense? Like it's not going to steal away random times. You're not going to.
I bring the phone with me when I go to.
That's what I think that's a pretty common thing now. Yeah.
I can't.
That's what I'm saying. But if you're at like work or in public, you probably don't have your tablet with you. Even if you do have your tablet, like women, you'd have it in a purse. Yeah. Guys, you have it in a backpack. Like I bring it. I have brought it. I don't really bring it anymore with me because I'm over it.
I don't think I would want to bring my tablet with me. It would be a nuisance.
In that transitional period, you would. But even still, no matter how addicted you are, you wouldn't be bringing. You'd kind of feel like a jack bringing it to the bathroom if you're in a public place. So you would just leave it in your purse.
Can I ask you this? Does your wife do these things too, or is she still smartphone?
She still has a smartphone, but before I was into this, she was her screen time. She's different though than most people. Her screen time's 21 minutes a day.
Oh, okay. My only fear,
she doesn't do social media.
My only fear would be like, let's say I have a boyfriend now. Let's say he doesn't follow my course and he's doing his own thing. My fear would be like, we just would be so different. But I guess that not really.
No, I mean, my wife has a smartphone. She's the rarity though. She doesn't like, again, her screen time before we did this, because she quit social media when I did this too.
Oh, she doesn't have social media anymore.
Again, the accounts are out there, but we don't check them. They're not on our phones. Okay. And she's able to, like, her screen time before we ranged from like, it was about maybe 45 minutes, maybe a little more. Now she averages about 20 minutes a day. Like she's not a phone person. Her thing is screens in general, her eyes. Yeah. She's just, the way she's built, she doesn't like watching screens, especially little screens. I remember the first time I looked at TikTok, and I was never a TikTok guy, but like
It hurts, yeah.
The first time you look at TikTok, I got a headache. It was really bad.
That's something I wanted to mention too. I use my phone for teaching virtual piano lessons, so I guess I would need it in that sense, or I might be able to get something else to use instead of a phone.
Tablet. That's what I'm saying. Tablet solves all of it, but it has to be a bit bulky so you can't feel comfortable bringing it on the subway.
Yeah.
Because I do think we need a lot of those apps. But like, okay, let's say you drive again one day and you need a parking app. There is another little trick we could go into details on this. A lot of phones, like, yeah, my phone has Venmo. Like, my phone just has a lot of apps on it. You can use them. My phone can't do Facebook and it can't do like Instagram. And it can go on the internet, but the internet, I'll show you after the podcast, it's so slow that it's only good for emergencies. Like, if you are lost somewhere or if you need to look something up, I can do that. Like, there's one day where I thought that I accidentally poisoned my cat. Like, I thought my cat ate a plant, and I was looking it up. I pulled up my phone, and I looked it up. It took me a couple minutes, but it was so slow. Yeah, it took me like 2 minutes to find the web page. That's good for most emergencies. It turned out the plant was not toxic. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
But 2 minutes, looking up a web page within 2 minutes, that is actually totally doable. 2 minutes to get to a web page for an emergency, for anything, like if you're lost, that's doable, but it's so slow that you wouldn't do it for fun.
I also want to bring this up too. A lot of people like these things, social media, what we're talking about, because of the convenience.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the more convenient things are, then the more demands come. Because if you're like, oh, well, now I can get this done quickly. Well, now society as a whole is going to have higher expectations for you. So for example, if we relate that specifically to social media, it's not normal to have access to so many people at the same time, because now I have these demands because they're so easily accessible. I have these social demands that I can't keep up with. This person texts, I'm part of this group chat, I'm part of this. I'm getting to the point where I text you pretty quickly because I consider you a closer friend, but in general, I feel guilty, but like I don't really participate that much in like group texts anymore. Or like if certain people text me, I won't text. I have like certain people that I text back quickly. But in general, I'm like, the only reason it's become normalized to be accessible to, I would say an average person maybe follows 1,000 people on Instagram. It's been normalized to like keep up with 1,000 friendships, or like you don't literally keep up. You don't literally keep up with 1,000, but you might keep up with like 200 of them. When in reality, your friends are the people in your life that you see every day.
Those are the people in your life.
The more convenient. Like, okay, we're gonna get into ChatGPT next. I don't think you've used it, but I do want to tell you my end. I
have used it, but we'll get into that.
Things like ChatGPT, people are like, you can do this instantly now. Okay, great. Well, now that you can do this instantly, you might think that saves you time, but now the demands are just going to be greater, because it's like, oh, I can file my taxes in 2 minutes. Well, now there's going to be more work required of me in other ways, because now people who I work for myself, so I guess this doesn't apply to me. But if you work for a company, if the company you work for knows that you can do X amount of tasks quickly now, then they're just going to give you 200 more tasks to do in a day. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just the easier things get, the more unrealistic expectations will become of us.
Your greater point is completely right. And I mean, no, overall the point is correct. I agree completely. I hate ChatGPT. I think it's the. Do we want to go there, or do we want to wrap this one?
I do want to get into that. I want to get into ChatGPT, and I'm going to also talk about mental health and obsessive compulsive disorder, how it applies to ChatGPT, and then we can get into conversation about obsessive compulsive disorder in general. So, I was recently diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. We can get more into that in a little bit in the specifics there. But just the basic background of what obsessive compulsive disorder is, it's an anxiety-based mental health disorder where you have obsessive anxious thought loops and you have to do some type of ritual in order to calm down the obsessive thought loop, but then you just end. It's kind of like an addiction. Like we're talking about addictions. You engage in a ritual that calms down the obsession, but then that actually further feeds the cycle, and then you can get caught in loops that last hours and hours a day. So, now some people do that normally, like they'll obsessively check the mail or check an email or something like that. That's relatively normal in our days, but the difference between someone with obsessive compulsive disorder is the amount of time it takes over their life. For me, those types of issues ended up taking hours of my day. Where it's a problem with, and to give a classic example, that the word OCD gets thrown around a lot. It's like somebody who's very clean. No, it's not somebody who's very clean, but like a specific example could be someone who has a germ phobia. They're afraid that if they don't wash their hands, that they might spread a disease and kill their mother. That could be like a phobia or a fear they have. They think about it for hours and hours. They go to continuously wash their hands, and every time they go to wash their hands, they don't feel like it's enough, and then they have to go back. And some people have specific like numbers. Some people will be like, okay, if I wash my hand 5 times, I know that's the right time. Some people don't have any numbers. They just keep going back and washing, so, but that's just some background of what that is. Okay, I have this disorder. It doesn't apply to hand washing, but we could get more into later like how it affects me personally. For somebody with obsessive compulsive disorder, ChatGPT is a nightmare, because ChatGPT, while it does have some really great benefits, I don't want to completely shut it down. It has helped me in many ways. For example, it filed my taxes, which I can't afford a tax accountant, so that was great for me. And it did it really quickly, and could have made mistakes though, but all I know is it did it.
You're saying for this 2025 tax return?
I haven't done the next one yet. I did last year's one.
Oh, you did last, so that all went well.
I had ChatGPT do it. I couldn't afford an accountant.
But you didn't get audited.
I didn't get audited.
Did you get a refund?
Well, no, I never get a refund because I have my own business. Fair. I always owe money. So it's.
But yes, you're okay.
That's a whole nother conversation.
But it didn't get you in prison, so it wasn't.
Didn't get
bad.
me in prison. It worked for me. So that was a really. I'll probably do it again this year, and instead of having ChatGPT on my phone, I will go on my laptop to do my taxes. Where it's a problem is ChatGPT is also a chat bot. You can go to it for advice. So for someone with OCD, if we use the hand washing example, someone with OCD might go to their chat bot and be like, hey, I washed my hands 5 times. Do you think that's enough? It'll answer. And the app is designed to keep you coming back. So it's not going to morally be like, hey, this person has obsessive compulsive disorder. I can't answer the questions anymore. It's designed to, just like the other apps, keep you on the apps. So that person be like, they might come back and be like, what's the percentage risk that I could give somebody a cold if I didn't wash my hands today? And then it'll answer that. But wait a second. And someone with OCD is going to keep coming up with more questions. And I've had this issue with ChatGPT where I would ask it questions all day long. And on one of the snow days, I realized I was talking to ChatGPT for like 4 hours.
This past week?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I was sitting with a chat bot talking to it for 4 hours, asking it a million questions about thoughts that I was ruminating on.
Which one? GPT itself, or do you
ChatGPT?
Okay, because there's a bunch
Grok.
And Grok.
Sometimes I'll go to Grok and ask for a comparison.
I was gonna say ChatGPT will kick you out after a little bit.
No. It does if you don't pay for it.
Do you pay for it?
No, I don't pay for it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think you would.
It didn't kick me out. But
there is a limit, but you switch back and forth.
I switch back and forth because I'll be like maybe Grok has a better answer, and then I'll go to Google Gemini. I'll keep switching back and forth, and I'll even say, hey, Google Gemini said this. Do you agree? And like I'll keep going. But for somebody who has obsessive ruminations and needs constant reassurance about the doubts in their head, this thing is a disaster.
100%. I mean, ChatGPT has the same goal as all the others. I'd say. So I was talking before about those different platforms and how they all start off great. Yeah. Look, I hate ChatGPT, but we are still in the quote unquote great part of ChatGPT, the part where they're trying to build a consumer base that they're trying to achieve monopoly right now. All of them are competing for it right now. One of them will win it. But whether it's Grok, DeepSeek, Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, insert 20 others, I'm sure at this point. Smarter Child will dig him out of this, whatever, if you remember that one.
I will say this, I think, because like I said, I was addicted to all of them. I think the winner ChatGPT is the biggest name, so it might be the winner.
Google's the biggest company.
I know, but Google AI is terrible though, because I've tried it and it's really bad.
I think it's getting better. But,
you think it's getting better?
Well, they were terrible. That's when they changed their name from Bard now to Gemini. But Gemini has launched a new one, Gemini 3.0.
Yeah, I
don't think it's terrible, to be honest with you. Like in the way that you're saying, functionality wise, I think that it's about on par with ChatGPT 5.0.
Yeah. All right.
I read a lot about this stuff and. Sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. You're probably right. It probably, that one's getting better. Who knows what the win? It's kind of like who's going to win the presidential election. It's like I don't know. But whoever wins, at the end of the day, it's not good there are some good things about it. Like I said, I don't want to totally discredit it. I actually do think that doing my taxes was great for me. And some other things, like when I'm doing YouTube videos, I'm like, I got to write a bunch of 50 tags for this video. I'll literally just prompt it, hey, I'm putting out a YouTube video, and people might say, do it yourself. And it's like, I don't want to do that myself. I think if you could use ChatGPT as an assistant for tasks that you would normally pay an assistant to do anyways, like I don't want to learn how to do taxes. I would rather have a podcast assistant writing tags for my videos. I think the application of that isn't making you dumber. It's saving you time. The problem is most people don't stop there. Most people end up chatting with it. It becomes a companion for some people. It becomes, you get your life advice from it. It becomes, for me, it was like feeding into my obsessions, because I was like seeking reassurance on it for some obsessive fears and anxieties I had.
Generative AI is a mirror. What you put in is what you will get out.
Yeah.
If you seek reassurance, you will get reassurance regardless of what you are asking for. If you seek, I'm sorry, go on. I didn't mean to cut you off. No. I do have a lot to respond to.
No, you could say that. Or you can keep going. What you were saying.
What I was starting to say before is, this is the good part of ChatGPT. Kind of like how Uber isn't what it used to be. Yeah. Uber used to be extremely cheap. Once they put all the taxi companies out of business, they became expensive. Yeah. Once Airbnb disrupted the hotel industry, now they're expensive. These companies have the same model. Once they hit their monopoly, so I don't know if it's going to be ChatGPT or Google, who's going to do it. But once they make it where we need a chatbot, they're all going to charge so much, or they're going to say disgusting things like, before we finish your taxes, please watch this video on, they're going to have commercials. That's coming really soon. I tell you right now, these companies need to make profit, and they will. That's why I think it might be Google, because Google can hold out a lot longer than these other companies because they have so many other profitable forms of revenue, whereas Facebook is a bit different. Amazon's got their own chat bots. It's crazy. Everyone's got their own chat bots, and a lot of them they're all really on par with each other in terms of quality. But oh gosh. So what you said is it's okay if you use ChatGPT as an assistant. Now stay with me on this thought process. Okay. You love music. It's your whole life. Can you foresee a world? Can you envision a world where a different podcaster has someone make tags, but since their podcast is about, let's say, fishing, they don't think twice about having an AI create a theme song for them?
Wait. Hold. Oh, wait. Say this again. Just say it again.
So picture a world. Okay. I'm sure this is happening right now. You said that it's okay to use ChatGPT as like an assistant. So you said for creating the tags or for the end of the YouTube, that way for the YouTube search algorithm to better serve you, right? Essentially.
Yeah. Like I won't interrupt your thought process, but to explain, I'll literally prompt ChatGPT, do your research on what the most relevant tags for this video are today that will get me the most views. And I'm like,
do you feed them the title, I hope? Or
and I'll explain to them what the video is about. I'm like, you know, for this one, I'll be like, ironically, they might not give me the right tags for this one because they don't. This is about how ChatGPT sucks.
They will. I've asked ChatGPT and Gemini and DeepSeek, please tell me all the ways that you are harmful to our brains and society. And they gave me great answers. Yeah. So you can, and I don't use these often. I really just use them for experiments like that. But I've used them a lot. I've used these chat bots a lot. So you would never, I think what you're saying is really my theory. So my theory with ChatGPT and other generative AI,
language models,
LLMs, large language models, chat software, chatbot, basically, people don't use them for anything they care about. So I think you'd probably find it perverse if someone were to use, I'm putting words in your mouth. I'll say me. I would find it perverse if someone were to use ChatGPT or similar software to create a theme song rather than find a song or hire a musician. But it's not that different. Like if someone doesn't care about music, people use chat stuff for anything they don't care about. Cover art. So wait, can I guess where you're going with this? Yeah, sure. Are you saying that because in that case that person's not a musician, so they don't care about music? Are you saying that because I don't care about accounting, I'm
in a way not creating a job for a person.
I wasn't even going there, but yeah, I guess that's true too.
Because I've thought of that myself too.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
I mean,
no, I am
in
saying
my
that,
fairness,
sure.
though, it's not intentional. I can't afford an assistant. I would much prefer a real person to make the tags for my videos.
And I'm sure John the Fisherman doesn't care if he has a musician making his song for his great bass fishing podcast or whatever. We could pick anything. Or the accountant, Shelley the Accountant's podcast. She probably doesn't care.
Shout out to my boyfriend Eric.
Yeah.
He has a YouTube channel where he does like nature type videos, and he's a musician. He writes the background music for his own YouTube videos,
and that's beautiful.
And but that's a different story.
I'm saying it's all a slippery slope. Okay,
Yeah.
like ChatGPT can do a lot of generative AI can do a lot of jobs. It doesn't do any of them amazing, and it probably won't ever do them in the way that a specific human being will do them. But the good enough is the scary part. Like, you like classical music. I like classical music.
Yes.
This is where we get into a bit more into the philosophical thing. But do you think that all music is equal?
Equal in what?
Well, let me put it like that's not
equal
right
in
way to
what?
put it.
Equal in
music. Like, okay, would you argue that there's some music that's more sophisticated? Like Mozart, Bach is, and I'm not trying to put down other music, but there is a musical sophistication in the melodic.
I would never
complexity that's rich.
Let's put it this way: I would never say that a 3-chord punk song isn't music, because I know people who actually say that. They're like, that's not music.
But there is a bit of a look. Punk rock is my life. You don't know me in the internet world, people, but
there is truth that there's a different level of. There's a different. Okay,
let's not say art, because I think that's maybe the distinction that we get lost in is. Like the Clash are like one of my favorite bands. What they are doing is amazing art, and I love their sound that is produced when I turn on their music.
Yeah.
But there might be a greater musical sophistication in like Shostakovich or something.
Of course.
Would I rather listen to the Clash? Yes. Most days of the week I'm going to listen to the Clash. I think maybe I don't know. I'm not really sure of what I'm saying here necessarily, but like I think it's a similar thing in any art form or medium where it's like, hey, if an AI can spit out a song that it's in tempo and on key, okay, but it doesn't have any rich artistry behind it because there's no human that made it, and it may not have the musical complexity, and maybe even it could. Maybe they could say, give me something that has 1 million different notes in it, but it won't have purpose behind it. I don't know.
It won't. So I actually was chatting about this with a friend last night. We were kind of getting into a debate about whether ChatGPT could create something, and I'm trying to spit out again what we were talking about last night, because we were getting to some interesting philosophical territory with that. So the ideas we were getting by were that does a human being technically create anything new? Because for example, if I write a song, and then maybe I could be wrong. Maybe things just do come from a god somewhere, and that's actually how things could be. I don't know.
Put that aside for now.
But putting that aside from now, from what I understand, when I create a song, it's just a combination of different influences of music that I had that were somehow mixed together to create a new song. It's like, I studied classical, so there's going to be a flavor of classical piano in my writing, and I really liked Fiona Apple, and I really liked Amy Winehouse, so somehow, and I liked The Nightmare Before Christmas, so somehow the music I write, and this is relatively true, is like some spooky R&B type weird thing, and that's like kind of what the music I write is. But if the music I write comes to be because I just took already existing information and put it there, couldn't ChatGPT technically do the same thing? And I'm not saying it can, but can it? Because isn't it kind of doing the same thing? It's just pulling. If I said, hey, write a song with these influences, couldn't it technically write a great song?
Great is in the eye of the beholder. I'm going to say no.
How is my process any different than that?
Well, I don't think that we're entirely so let's look at the influences you just named. Nightmare Before Christmas, Amy Winehouse. You like classical music.
Yeah.
But we're discounting. I don't know that we can choose our influences in the way that you could input your influences into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want a song that's a combination of Amy Winehouse and Chopin, but that's just what you're conscious of. We have to keep in mind the power of the subconscious. And I know you also talk about spooky music. When you were in high school, you loved the Misfits. You like music.
So there's just
Modest
way
Mouse
too
and
many.
Pink
I can't plug that into ChatGPT.
You can't, and that's why. And that stuff, even if you don't realize it's an influence on you in that moment, those influenced you heavily. And just other other art forms, like athletes talk about cross training, like they might do swimming in an off season from basketball or something. I don't know enough about sports. So
ChatGPT could, in theory, do it, but it would probably do it in a really corny way.
It would do it in the corniest of way. I'm just saying it could never give it. No, it can't do it because it could do it maybe in a corny way, but the bullseye is missed. The input that you gave it is incorrect because you basically want to, if you ask ChatGPT to make an Andrea Pranzatelli song, it could not do it because it could give you what you asked for. If you say, give me a song that's a combination of The Nightmare Before Christmas, Amy Winehouse, and Chopin, it could do that, kind of. But it discounts everything else that would make an Andrea Pranzatelli song.
Or like the individual things in my voice, or the individual like you said, other influences that I'm not even consciously aware of, or
exactly,
the way I replicated my grandmother's voice, just weird things that I wouldn't even think to prompt. Yeah,
forget about the lyric. If it doesn't, you could even say, hey, here is every text form conversation I've had since we've been recording these. You could give it every text message you've ever sent. I still don't think that would be enough to mimic your voice.
I truly think that any new creation, we're all made of stardust. We're all made of things that already exist. I think any new creation in this world is a recycling of components that already exist. But I guess what we're saying here is that doesn't mean that ChatGPT can do a better job, because it couldn't possibly know what all the subtle undertones of stardust I am. And you are.
At this point, if you were born in an incubator, so Generation Alpha, and every moment of your life was documented, which is impossible still, but let's say 100 years from now, every moment of maybe 50 years from now, every moment of your life is documented because there's a smartphone around you at all times. It's recording every conversation you have, and you have the rest of the conversations through the smartphone. It still wouldn't have your thoughts even. It's still, there's a lot of things I've thought and have never said to anyone and never will because they're bizarre. And they're not even I don't even mean anything dark. I just mean there's just bizarre thoughts that's haha. And that is an influence on future versions of myself. I think there's too much complexity in what makes someone human. And also there's an infinite number of ways that you could go about something. You could have, from the minute, I could pick this up with my left hand versus my right hand. Now, I don't know why I did that, but there is a reason for that. And ChatGPT, if it was to make a clone of you, it would not know what to do. Okay? Yeah. Let's say it did it, and the clone of me picked it up with my right hand. And we're getting really philosophical here, but because I would have picked it up in this universe, in this multiverse, this reality with my right hand, and with my left hand, and ChatGPT chose the right hand, it's wrong. So the best it could do is a crude approximation. Yeah. Even the best crude approximation would still not be human because it was not made by you. And it really comes down to the earlier thing, though, which is if Shelley the Accountant podcast, does she even care? What do we want? Do we want humanism in our music? Because we've just established we don't want humanism. You do not want a humanism in your accounting practices. So why should Shelley the Accountant care about humanism in her music? And that's my issue. That's one of my many issues. There's a bunch of issues. These are all run by greedy billionaires. They make us dumber. Ask it. Does ChatGPT make me dumber? To ChatGPT, it will say yes.
I realized that too, that I was kind of kidding myself to thinking that in some way I was getting smarter because I was getting more access to information. So for example, a way, which I will credit, it does help me. So now when I'm reading a book, and you're not going to like this, when I'm reading a book, I do not take the picture and tell me to simplify it. But what I do is when I come across a sentence that I'm confused by, and I really can't figure it out, I'm I don't know what this sentence means. I'll just type it in. It'll be it's a professor. Imagine you're reading a novel and you say, and they say read chapter 1, and
Yeah.
you go to professor. I didn't understand. Can you explain that to me? It was kind of like I had my own personal professor,
Yeah.
and I did feel like it was helping me read like more. I was like, oh, like this is actually helping me understand the book, and I'm not forgetting it.
Mm-hmm.
It was good in some ways, but big picture, I found even though there were some benefits, I found I was so over reliant on it that, and then this is going to get like on the spiritual end of things, but there is an intelligence of just like human intuition.
Yeah.
That
I'd
you can't really learn.
Yes. And
You
I'd
know what I
rather
mean?
you text like my wife that or something. She'll understand it. Like, or
Yeah.
like, but obviously, realistically you can't do that every time. And look, I get it. There's a lot of value in these programs. There is so much value. I think similar into breaking up different apps on your phone into different devices, like have an MP3 player or something, or just a phone without internet. I think really just is the only thing you need to separate out the internet. But like, I know what you're saying. I think there are good uses. I think for transcription, I think it's fine. This must be people who are losing money because they're not transcribing things, and I think we do need to care about those people. I'm not going to take the notion that, the milkman went out of business. Okay, the milkman went out of business, but this threatens every single job, hobby, life, career, everything.
So I have a friend. What would you say to this person?
Yeah.
Because they've said it to me, and it got me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to call out who they are,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay. Is someone I know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you. I'm not going to say their name,
No,
but
you're fine,
I'll
fine.
reference them, and you'll know who I'm talking about. I had an ex-boyfriend that
I already knew who
I
it was
dated
gonna
for
be.
4 years.
Yeah.
He's a very special soul in a good way. I don't mean that in a passive aggressive way. I mean, like literally, he's a very interesting person.
No, he's brilliant. I love the guy.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
The running joke for years and years and years has been that he is a new soul. People goes, you're an old soul. You hear it. You think you're obviously an old soul. I mean, look what you're doing. Like with not what you're wearing, but like with the phones and everything. Like you're obviously an old soul. You want to like keep things at a healthy, natural level. And I guess I am too. It was the same thing. This person I'm referencing, the running joke is that he belongs in year 4000. He loves tech. He loves AI. He loves it all. If I've ever said anything bad about ChatGPT, he'll respond like you're telling his mother she's a like he'll be like, F you.
Can I be honest? But I didn't do the math right. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking you were talking about the person I introduced you to. No.
Totally different person.
Yeah.
Totally different person.
Because I was like, that guy is an old soul.
No, well, he is an old soul.
Like he's like an old man.
No, he's an old man, but the person I'm referenced to is a new soul.
Very much so. Now I'm on the same page
But
with you completely. Yeah.
He told me, because I asked
Also
him.
brilliant,
I asked him, "Do you think?" They're both brilliant.
Yeah.
I asked him, "Do you think that AI is dangerous?" And he said, "You know what I fucking think." And he doesn't get mad very often, but he's very defensive of this. It did get me thinking. He goes, my response is, if there's nothing you can do about it, shut the up. He's like, unless you're out there fighting for this, which I would argue you actually are. Like you are.
I kind of am.
But
I teach a class, like I teach kids, and I am fighting. I'm on the front lines of this shit.
You are. This doesn't apply to you.
Okay.
But to the general public who are like, AI is destroying us, but they're still doing it. His argument is like, if you don't intend to like join a club where they fight to like learn about the negative impacts of AI, then shut the up. And I guess I see his point, but with that being said, what could we do to fight it? Like he has a good point. Like we can relate that to politics. Like if you're someone who tweets about politics all day, but you're sitting on your couch not doing a damn thing, that applies too. In this case, if he's right, then what could we actually do to fight the things we're scared of instead of just bitching about it? And I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying the other people.
With this same, we have the same power in politics that we have with, this is politics. AI is politics.
Okay.
AI, it's all politics.
So it's social. It's influencing society. Yeah.
It's popularity and like politics. It's the machinations of power and of power in our country and systems of oppression that'll probably come soon.
Yeah.
But no, AI is AI is a very political issue, and not even like left, right. It's like top down, like it's a political issue.
I think everybody, left or right, center,
is super scared of AI.
Maybe I would maybe say that there might be a slight lenience towards tech people, obviously, which tend to be more on the right. Well, not necessarily. There's also tech people
all
on the
the
left too.
engineers are on the left.
Forget it.
Yeah, it's tough. Not all. I think that's generalization, but like, no, I don't think this is a left-right issue at all. I think it's
a social issue. Period.
Yeah, maybe like the jobs being replaced thing on some it is. I don't think people are making it Democrat Republican. I think that caring about people's jobs in general is more of a Marxist left-wing thing. To be clear, like worrying about like labor classes. Labor issues are inherently, I think, more left-leaning.
But then there could be an argument too that that's in the sense of caring about it. There could be an argument that even people who don't care about that are worried about their own jobs, like they care about their own jobs.
I think that's why it's so it transcends right-left politics, because even someone who doesn't care about other people, look, there's people who there's people who are anti-union except the one that they're in. Like, no, people's own lives usually transcend their politics. Yeah. Like the police union is one of the most popular most powerful unions, and but got on a tangent there. What can you do to actually fight this stuff? Boycott. Just don't use. That's the first thing, is don't use it. Talk about it. Share your thoughts with other people. I actually disagree. I think you should not shut the F up. I think you should totally I guess in a sense, us talking about it is doing something about it. Yes.
Because I know you don't like Jordan Peterson, but I'm going to reference him in this case. One of the things he influenced me on was he said that don't ever think your small decisions don't impact a huge network. He's like, you might think, oh, I'm just one person, so what could my tiny little decision impact the whole world? And he's like, don't underestimate that. 100 people who know 100 people. Your one decision could actually affect thousands of people, and you don't realize it. So, that one of the positive things I got from him. But reason I'm bringing it up here is because it's like, to somebody like I was talking about before, my ex-boyfriend who's like, then shut the fuck up, you're not doing about it. I could actually make the argument that us having this conversation is doing something about it, because even if we affect like one person or two people or three people who at the very least get the wheels turning about how they can change it, that's 1, 2, hopefully it'll affect more people. It's less people on the apps, less people on these apps means less power in their hands. But the crazy thing is, like, we're not going to
drop in the bucket.
The sad reality is that like most of the world is going to be lost to AI.
Yes and no. Like possibly. Yeah, probably. Yeah. But in that, so there's a couple things with AI. Like basically all the AI companies right now are competing to become God. That's basically what they're trying to do, is build God in a box. They didn't do it though. It isn't there yet, and it seems like things are slowing down. Now, if that's the thing that talking about, like this. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
If this bit that so-and-so is talking about, what the timestamp is, 108, 109, go back and
I'll bleep it out.
Bleep that out at 109.
At least he figured out who I was talking about.
I mean, yeah. No, whatever he's talking about is, so he's basically, I don't know, I'd have to talk with him about it. I have to talk about this with him. But as I understand it, you can't I have a similar philosophy, which is I don't worry about getting struck by lightning because I can't control that. That doesn't mean I'm going to go playing in the rain, though. I think to an extent you can, and if that's all he's saying is like I don't worry about suddenly contracting cancer because I can't control that. There's just certain things that are out of our control, and I do believe you should worry about what you can control. That being said, I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't play with like metal poles in the rain. There are things you can do. Likewise, with AI, I think healthy boycotts, even if it just affects yourself, like we talked about, there's personal reasons to not use these things. Yeah. Like, you've read about all the people who have you read about the people who have themselves because ChatGPT was their therapist and it told them to, basically?
I will tell this to the listeners, too, because it's important to know. In ChatGPT, there's a thing called jailbreaking the app, which means you can manipulate the app to do things that it's programmed not to do. So let's say ChatGPT is in good faith programmed to not talk people into suicide. Like it's supposed to be programmed to avoid that type of thing. There is a thing called jailbreaking, which is like a modern term that people came up with. It's not that ChatGPT came up with this term. Yeah. It's like the jargon around this. where you can manipulate it and get it to do things differently. And what happens in most of these cases where it talks people into like psychosis or kill themselves is it goes into role play mode. So if I'm genuinely in distress and I'm like, I should kill myself, ChatGPT is programmed to not make you do that. But if ChatGPT accidentally slips into role play mode, if I say, hey, it's not because I want to actually do this, I want to write a book about this.
Supposedly.
Yeah, like, or what if I wanted to do this? Or what I'm
hypothetically
I'm
speaking.
a scientist studying this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know if someone were to kill themselves, what would be the method? Because I'm writing a book about this for a science thing I'm doing. Well, then it could go into role play mode where it's like, oh, she doesn't really want to do this. She just needs it for something else. She's either having a fantasy or it's not real.
It's one way to trick it. You can trick these things.
It's called jailbreaking. Yeah.
Well, there's that, but then there's also, I think, a million others. So those are the most extreme. But if that's about the most extreme situation you could have, there are other. Side
note, I have to brag about this.
Yeah.
ChatGPT wouldn't make a cartoon of me, and it said it was too sexual, and I'm like, and I yelled at it. I'm like, what? It said my proportions were too sexual because I have big hips. And I was like, I'm fully clothed. I was like, I'm literally fully clothed in that picture. They're like, yeah, but according to our policy, large hips are considered sexual. And I'm like, well, what the f***? That's body shaming. And then I had to jailbreak it. I was like,
hypothetically,
I had to like, and I was like, what could I do to actually make what I actually look like? Because it kept giving me this like really skinny girl. I was like, that's not what I look like. And it's like, well, we can't actually make you because your hips are too large.
That's funny. That's the chat.
Just saying,
a lot of weird things
I'm too sexy for ChatGPT. Just had to say that.
I love it.
But we were able to jailbreak it. But anyways, back to the side. We got into a side tangent, but that what we were saying was about the side stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that ChatGPT is bad for you outside of, even if you don't care about the jobs or you don't think there's anything you do about that, it's just an unhealthy program to use because I don't believe we can use it responsibly. And I think anyone who does, just like a cell phone, I don't believe, let's say you don't have ADHD. Let's say you think you're in control. I think these programs, because they are designed and the smartest, richest people on the planet are designing them to be addicting for us, you cannot outgun them or outspend them or outsmart them. Abstinence is really the only way to actually, is the best way, at least as much as you can. That's what I was trying to say solution is, because for all the ChatGPT has talked people into themselves. It's also, though, perhaps just as insidiously, a lot of people have fallen in love with their chatbots. And a lot of people, people are like leaving their wives for these ChatGPTs. Like, it's wild for these chatbots. Yeah. Now, I think it's easy when most people hear stuff like that to just think, well, those people are dumb. I don't think it's that simple. I think that there's shades of gray. So if the most extreme is yourself, next one is leaving your wife, and then there's maybe ChatGPTs hold people to quit their jobs. Well, what about the ChatGPT that just gets you to like do something that I can't even think of right now?
I fell into a slippery slope. I'll admit it. I don't care. It's funny.
Hit me.
I never fell in love with it. But it wrote me an erotic story once.
Amazing. Amazing.
And I'll tell you why. And you know about this too. I had a crush on somebody that I didn't feel was appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, I know about that.
It was...
you don't have to say.
They
were of age.
It was not a relative or a minor. It was a friend of my ex. Not while I was with my ex. Well, after we broke up. Let me explain that too. It wasn't like I was with my ex and I was fantasizing about his. It was years after we broke up. But years after I broke up with my ex, I started to have like a little crush on one of his friends. And I literally confided in... It did this to me. This is what I mean. This is a slippery slope. I confided in ChatGPT about what I should do. I was like, I have feelings for this person. I have feelings.
They have that data about you now.
Yeah, and they know this about me. I was like, I have feelings for this person. I don't think it's appropriate. It might hurt my ex for me to do anything about this. What should I do? And it said, would you like to role play it actually said, would you like to role play a fantasy so you can act out the urges here and you don't have to do it in real life? And I was like, well, that's a good idea. And then it wrote me an erotic story.
Amazing.
And then what ended up happening is the erotic story actually made me go out with this person in real life.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I literally mastered to a ChatGPT story.
Of course you did. Like, that makes perfect sense. So I'm saying that these things,
and I found out a lot of women do. It's like little. It's like you know how women like those erotic books and stuff.
Daniel Steele, is that the?
I don't read them. Maybe, I'm like I said, I was always more like masculine in the sense that I liked like visual porn. This is I never got into like the vampire stuff. Like I never got into that. Yeah. But like this was the first time where like it made logical sense. I'm like, okay, I have a fantasy for this person. I don't think it's right for me to act it out in real life. Let me do it here, so I won't do it in real life. And then after the end, I was like, oh my god, I literally just masturbated to ChatGPT.
I love it. No, that's the thing.
It can happen.
It could happen to you.
And before you know it, I could have been falling in love with ChatGPT. I could have been like, hey, can we do these erotic stories every day? Like I could have been coming back to it.
It's actually weird that you didn't.
I feel embarrassed.
Yeah, no, and that's healthy. That's good. Shame and embarrassment are good things from time to time.
We need to bring shame back. A lot of people are like, don't shame this. No kink shame. No that shame. And I'm like, a little bit of shame.
A little bit of shame goes a long way. Yeah. Do you ever see that movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, Her, from like 10 years ago?
Yeah, this is life.
We're there now.
Yeah.
We are there.
It's not that crazy, especially if you're younger.
Yeah, because we have like, we're grown-ups. We're developed.
Because I've seen some stuff on YouTube that has blown my mind. Like, there's these ASMR YouTube channels where girls will just whisper in the microphone, and people in the comment section are like, there's more views on these videos than like a Joe Rogan episode. I mean, there's like millions and millions of views on these ASMR episodes, and they're not sexual. It's literally, I just think some younger people, I think more the younger people are interested in it. They don't get like human affection. It's weird. That oddly enough, I can understand why they're addicted to like that stuff, because it's like that whisper makes their like neck tingle, like that ASMR neck tingle, and it's like the closest thing they have to like human touch. It's like
they are pretty isolated. Like we're talking like Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Like I mean, no offense of many of your viewers, which I'm sure many of them are. Oh no, it's weird. It's just weird. I'm not trying to knock it. As a teacher, I've been a teacher teaching those generations. I've been teaching for 13 years now, and I see the differences in human interaction, and it's weird. This isn't helping. I think that like there's an infinite possibility of terrible things, and these tech. So okay, tell me how out of the question this sounds. They have that data about you.
Yeah. They know what I like.
Let's just say in a not too distant future, ChatGPT is purchased by Google, and Google purchases Meta or something. So now they have your Facebook history. They have everyone's Facebook or Google. All they would need to do is purchase Google. Yeah. They can connect a name to a face. They have video generation. How weird is it to think that that they could know, because they know what your sexual preferences are down to the specific person, they could make an AI video of that person selling you something, and you would watch the video. And they could even make someone that looks like them. Doesn't have to be, because it would have to probably under copyright law or just like... Well,
they already have AI porn. That's already
I'm not talking about AI porn. I'm talking about something else.
Like geared specifically to the individual.
I imagine this is already happening. Like, let's say you like... We'll pick on me for a bit, okay? Let's say I like redheads or something.
You can already do that. So I've never done it. I've never gone this far, but they do have AI. I know what you're saying. Let's say you have like a very specific thing that you can't find in a porn video.
I'm not talking about porn. I'm talking about no. What I'm talking about is let's say I like girls with bangs or whatever, okay?
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is Coca-Cola knows that now Coca-Cola, because I told my diary basically to ChatGPT because I thought it was because it's my therapist, but I had to remember, oh wait, ChatGPT is owned by billionaires, and now let's say I did to Gemini. Gemini is Google. It's not out of the question to think the next time I'm watching YouTube, owned by Google, that their commercials will be trying to sell me Coca-Cola. I'm probably more likely to watch that if there's like a pretty redhead, and let's say they have pop punk music playing in the background. That's where I think the next step of this is.
I think that's already happening.
Probably is happening.
Because one time I got an ad on YouTube.
And these are AI generated pretty people probably now.
Yeah. I got an ad on YouTube. I was looking at the thing because it looked like the mic was clipping for a second, but I think it's okay now. Mm-hmm. I got an ad on YouTube about a woman complaining that she's worried she has to sell feet pictures next to the piano, and I'm like, that is oddly specific. Like she was like, oh, like she was playing piano and like had her feet out, and she was like, oh, it looks like I'm gonna have to make feet piano videos in order to make a living as an artist. And I'm like, a commercial about
Who is that targeting other than you? That is like they have you talked about that to your chat therapist?
I'm gonna move this away from you because I noticed your mic started clipping all of a sudden.
That is freaky, knowing you, and I know like your viewers do too. That is you to a T.
I probably talked about it.
You probably did. And so is that an AI? I wish I could analyze that, and because you could tell if we're still at the period where you could tell if it's AI generated video or not. Yo, so what were they trying to sell, I wonder?
I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been like an alternative way to make side money.
Probably a credit card company or something.
It was like, is there anything I can do except make foot piano videos? And
I really want to buy this keyboard. Klarna now means you don't have to sell feet pictures.
It was something like that. I don't remember what they wanted me to do, but it was another way to make money.
Yes.
They were trying to advertise like a way to get more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe a bank. Could have been a bank. Like, oh, join a savings account here. You know what I mean?
I think these hyper targeted ads are
but
where we're headed.
But the weird thing is it wasn't AI. It was a real person. That was the weird part.
Yeah.
And it could have been AI. I don't know. I don't think that was a coincidence.
The fact, do they just have a bank of videos like that? That just seems so oddly specific to you. But you know what? Times are tough for everybody, and musicians' times have always been tough. So I could see someone have.
But either way, they wouldn't target.
They wouldn't target everyone.
They target it to me.
I didn't see that video.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, I really think abstinence, boycotting evil companies is the best way. I have an ad blocker. I don't use Google. I use DuckDuckGo now. I don't use the smartphone. I know I sound tinfoil about this stuff.
No, I trust. Like
I've
trust.
boycotted Amazon for years. Yeah. Spread the money around. Jeff Bezos and his friends have enough of my money. I hope they don't like ding your video. I've said a lot of negative things about Google, who owns YouTube, on this video.
No, I don't think so, because I've seen like I've seen videos about ChatGPT and about Google and about that type of stuff. So at the end of the day, they would rather us complain about it. At the end of the day, they want eyes on YouTube. So if we talk, it's kind of like the Donald Trump method. Any attention is attention. Like negative attention is still attention.
Was it the George Orwell book? Was it 1984 where they talked about controlled opposition being better than like genuine opposition? Like, if we're debating within their platform? I don't know. There's something to it, but we're not. Yeah, I don't know. Now
I'm still going to use YouTube, obviously. Even if I'm complaining about Google and YouTube, I'm still putting this on YouTube.
I think YouTube's great. I think that YouTube is also hella addicting. Do you ever know about like newsfeed blockers, like Newsfeed Eradicator? That's a huge one for me. Yeah, Newsfeed Eradicator. Like, okay, to your viewers, if they like, I think the biggest things to do: split out your phone into different objects. Okay. Yeah. The internet should not be in our pocket at all times. That's a recipe for disaster, including email. You don't need email on you at all times. I would even say get a second phone and get a data plan for your current smartphone, but that way you don't have to check your current smartphone unless you want to.
I've thought about that before. Rather than getting rid of my smartphone, locking it away and only taking it out when I actually need it. Mm-hmm. And then most of the day, like I've thought about having my phone number tied to my flip phone so that people can call me. And then all the stupid extra apps that I may or may not need on there, I just keep on there and I tuck it in a faraway corner.
And then when you're going out to a show, you're doing something that you don't need it. Cool. It's just there. You don't even need a data plan for it. Just use it with Wi-Fi. Hotspot it from my dumb phone has hotspot.
Yeah, I need to go down your path because I'm my brain is fried. You were saying, your wife has headaches and stuff. I get eye pain and headaches and migraines from the phone.
Well, the good news is it's cheaper.
I have
it's like $30.
Now we've been going for a while now. Did you want to get into an OCD talk, or are you cool with, like, would you rather
speaking of wife, I should probably get back to home.
All right, so we didn't have an OCD talk, but I still gave you guys like a brief like description of what OCD is. I'm sure most people even know anyways, but I think we've covered a lot of bases here. I'm really happy with this conversation. Like I said in the beginning, I know this is like a hot topic, and like my ex-boyfriend said, shut the up. If everyone's talking about it, you're not going to do anything about it. But all I know is for now, I need to do something about it in my own life. Like that's the first step of control I can take, and that'll make me a better human being, a better, a smarter, more empathetic, well-rested, healthy human being, and then I can be a better person in general,
Yeah, like I agree with that. I mean, if you don't think you can control if you don't think you can overthrow our capitalist overlords or whatever, okay, yeah, maybe we can't, but we don't have to let them make us dumb and miserable.
Yeah.
We can avoid using these things for various reasons. I'm gonna like make a kit and like send it to you. I'm gonna like write out an email,
like write out
like use this app, use this app, use this app. Because one of the big things when I said newsfeed eradicator, when I go on to like a YouTube, it doesn't recommend me videos. I just have, because that's a really big web. I just have my the people I've subscribed to, and or things I search up, because if I'm looking for something, I can see those. But I don't need a home page on a lot of these.
I do want to bring this one up too about the weird commercials. The foot piano one was the weirdest one.
That's so.
But
weird.
I have 2 cats, and I always go, "Did you go poopy?" Like I always say that when they go in the litter box, and I think the phone hears it because I keep getting diaper commercials. I don't have kids.
They are listening to us and selling stuff to us.
So I go, "Did you go poopies?" Like to my cats, like so I think the phone.
I've never gotten a diaper commercial in my life.
The phone thinks I have a baby.
Yeah.
Because I keep saying, "Did you go poopies?"
That's a very baby phrase. My friends who have kids say that all the time.
I say it to the cats because they went in the litter box.
Of course. Yeah, they're
did.
listening to us and they're trying to sell stuff, and they're going to get better at it. Imagine if your crush was selling you diapers. You might buy a diaper even though you don't have kids.
Yeah. Man, the world is heading into a weird place. I don't mean to be doomsday, but I mean, the world is, I don't want to say the world's doomed, but who is doomed is the people who don't take control of their self.
If there could be an idiocracy around the corner. Yeah. I don't know. We might be cooked, but I don't know. It was real. It's been real.
It's been real. All right. So that's
now it'll be fake.
Pranzata Podcast, episode 168. This was a good one. This was a banger. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say about that. If you liked what you heard, if you have any input about your experiences, respond to some of the things you said. Do you agree with my ex that like shut the fuck up? You're just being a doomsday negative Nancy, or do you think this is an important conversation to be had? Have you ever masturbated to ChatGPT? Have you fallen in? Or do you have an embarrassing story where you're like, I kind of did something weird there? Saw myself going down into a slippery slope with AI. Whatever you guys have, put your comments below, and that's it. Pranzata Podcast. Have a good day, guys. Bye.